Hey guys, YouTube Warrior 100 here. Alright, and this is kind of going to be sort of a different video than what I usually do. I don't really like make videos about subjects like this, but yeah, this is just something that I just felt like talking about, because this is just really, like, strange. Okay, so yeah, you can probably see by the title of the video down there. Yeah, I'm gonna be putting like a video in the description box as well as a playlist of the stuff that I'm gonna be talking about in this video, alright? So there was apparently, like, yeah, apparently there was like a guy who really beat his girlfriend's son, and like really bad. He like gave him brain damage and stuff, and yeah, and in this video you can see like the damage he did to this little kid. I mean, this kid was only like 2 years old, and this guy like really like severely injured this boy. Yeah, and for what he did to that boy, this guy got 50 years in prison. So yeah, and you can see by the title of this video, this guy got more time for what he did to this kid. He didn't kill this kid, by the way. I just want to say that real quick. Yeah, he didn't kill this kid. This kid lived, and yeah, you can see in this video that this kid made a recovery from the beating. Yeah. This guy got 50 years. This guy, in other words, got more time than a lot of people who've committed murders. So yeah, I'm gonna put like a playlist down in the description box for you guys to look at. There's just like a handful of videos that I found of sentences handed down to people who've killed others, who've killed someone. And all these people, depending on like how you feel about it, they got less time. They were sentenced to less time than this guy who didn't kill a kid, just beat him really bad. And all these people actually did commit murder. But yeah, there's gonna be, yeah, so yeah, check out that playlist and you can see like some of these videos of people who have been sentenced for murder, and they have gotten like less severe sentences than this guy did. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just gonna talk about some of these videos that'll be in the playlist of people that have been sentenced for murders. Yeah. So yeah, there were like two teens that killed a group home worker. And yeah, one of these teens got 25 years to life in prison. And the other one just got 20 years in prison. Yeah. So these guys actually murdered somebody, and yet these two have each have less sentences than this guy who just beat a kid and didn't kill him. And there was a mother that kind of like helped her husband like kill her son. Yeah, and her husband here, she wasn't her son's father, or her biological father, his biological father anyway. Yeah, and yeah, this mother was also a part of the murder on her son, who was like also with the same age as the kid who got beaten by this guy who had 50 years, and this mother only got 15 years in prison. I mean, seriously, I mean, you actually help murder your own child who's the same age as another child who was severely injured and beaten, and the guy who did that got 50 years, while you only get 15 years. I mean, seriously, are you really saying that a guy who did not kill a child, just severely injured them, deserves more time, far more time in prison than a mother who murdered her own child? I mean, seriously, it makes no sense to me. Yeah. And there's been other people who've committed murders, like there's one guy who was murdered, who murdered his roommate and was sentenced to 15 years to life in prison. Yeah, you probably can see like a couple of people who have had a maximum sentence of life in prison, but they're eligible for parole like sooner than 50 years. So yeah, I guess it's debatable whether or not these sentences are like more severe than this guy who was sentenced to 50 years. But yeah, these guys will still like they'll be eligible for parole earlier than when by the time this guy gets out. Now, yeah, yeah, and there was another teen that choked a 5-year-old to death, and this guy got 22 years to life in prison. I mean, seriously, I mean, all these people, they have like way, like their sentences are like probably like way down here, and the guy who like beat a kid but didn't kill him, like way up here. Yeah. And yeah, and there were also like two 14-year-old boys that killed one of their great-grandmothers. And these two boys, one of them was like sentenced to life in prison, but he's eligible for parole by his 50th birthday, and the other one also has life in prison, but is eligible for parole on his 45th birthday. So in other words, that's basically like 35 years to life for one, and 30 years to life for the other. So they still have less time they will have to serve than a guy who beat a toddler but without killing them. Yeah. And yeah, there was another like a drunk driver girl who killed a not even a year-old baby, and she was sentenced to only 15 years in prison. Yeah. And another guy who like violently whacked his girlfriend's 3-year-old son in the head and killed him was only sentenced to 21 years in prison. I mean, come on. I mean, seriously. I mean, this guy just yeah. Yeah, and this guy that killed his girlfriend's son with only one hit. Her son was 3 years old, by the way, and this guy killed him. And when this guy was in court, he was completely like emotionless. He showed like no emotion, no remorse, nothing for what he did. But yet, this guy, the guy who beat the toddler who was sentenced to 50 years, you could actually see this guy like burying his face in his hands, and he was actually crying. So yeah, I mean, this guy, the guy who didn't kill the toddler, he seemed to be more remorseful than this guy who was sentenced to 21 years for killing someone. I mean, yeah, so this is just I don't even know. I don't know whether or not I want to call it stupid, ridiculous, doesn't make sense. I mean, yeah, there's probably just a bunch of words I could use. And there was also a stepdad who murdered his stepson by beating him with a wooden rolling pin 70 times. So yeah, I mean, this guy was torturing his stepson, and this guy only got 25 years to life. Yeah, and the same for another teen who beat his girlfriend's 2-year-old son to death. And this guy was sentenced to 25 years to life. And also, there's another guy who murdered his girlfriend. He stabbed her 39 times. And how much time did this guy get? This guy got 20 years to life in prison. So yeah, I mean, you have all these people who have commit murders, who have actually assaulted and murdered somebody. Who they did to is dead, not alive, and these people get less time than this guy who just beat his girlfriend's son. He didn't kill him. The kid lived, and he's recovered. And this guy, yeah, a longer sentence than all these people who have killed. This guy gets 50 years. Now, of course, let me just say real quick, of course, I do not justify what the guy did. I do justify him beating that kid. I agree that he deserves to go to prison. I agree that he deserves to serve time. But seriously, I mean, you're giving him a longer sentence than even though his victim lived, over all these people who have like committed crimes. They have murdered people. I mean, seriously, they have less time than a guy who didn't kill. I mean, yeah, so yeah, there's just like like the justice system here is like really unusual. Well, yeah, but yeah, check out the video of the guy sentenced to 50 years, and yeah, check out the videos in the playlist that'll be in the description box of everybody who's been sentenced for murder. So yeah, yeah, just check those out. And so yeah, that's all I really have to say about this. Just we have a weird justice system. Alright, so yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.